Yes, Your Honor. At this time, the defense calls Coach Terry Swift to the stand.
Okay. Okay, you may proceed.
Please state your name, spelling last for the record.
Terry Swift, SWIFT.
And what's your occupation, Mr. Swift?
I'm the physical education teacher and track coach at Rough Grouse High School in Whistler, Pennsylvania.
And how are you involved in today's case, Coach?
I was Jordan Simon's track coach during her time at Rough Grouse.
And when did you first meet Jordan Simon?
Well, there was a colleague of mine, Charlie McAllister, who told me about this little middle school girl that was just breaking records. I thought I'd watch her run one day and had her run one lap, and I knew one day she'd be wearing gold.
So, Coach, after you watched Jordan run, what did you do?
That's when I went to Rough Grouse's scholarship committee, and I told them about Jordan, and they offered her a need-based scholarship as long as her grades stayed decent.
So how was Jordan's first year at the school, Coach?
Well, she came in like any freshman. High school's like a new life for a lot of kids. She was full of energy. She studied well and ran really well, too.
And how was her sophomore year?
Well, she experienced something I like to call a sophomore slump. Sophomore year is really a transitional period for a lot of kids. You're technically not an upperclassman yet, but again, you're not the newest in the school. Jordan's grades slipped up a little bit, and her times got a little bit worse.
Now, Coach, did you do anything about this?
Well, yes, at the end of the track season, I had a meeting with Kelly Simon and Charlie McAllister to talk about Jordan's track times.
And did anything come out of that meeting?
Yes, that's when I offered Jordan admission into my summer training program, free of charge, of course.
Now, Coach, do you make your athletes aware of the negative side effects of PED usage?
I do. The first practice of every season, I sit them down before we start anything, and I'm very open about this. I let them know my story, that when I was a runner, I ran and I won the right way. I trained hard and I stayed dedicated to that training. PEDs will not be used on this team. We've been winning all these years, and that's due to hard work and dedication.
And Coach, what specifically do you tell your runners?
Well, most recently, I gave them the Lance Armstrong example. He was a champion as a biker. He was probably the best biker in the sport, but now he is nothing. And these kids, I use that as a teachable moment so that they're motivated to win the right way.
Now, Coach, are you aware that while she was on your team, Jordan exhibited signs of EPO usage?
There were some signs, but like they say, hindsight is 20/20. These symptoms actually happened over a period of time. Now I think about it, it was EPO use, but the headaches, I really thought that was just being a student athlete. I was a student athlete at once, and it's a lot. The combativeness, the moodiness. I've been working with teenagers almost all my life. They get like that sometimes. And the one time she fainted at practice, I really thought that was dehydration. She's a runner, I was a runner, or a more competitive runner at one point, and it happens sometimes.
Now, Coach, what about her track times? Were they any kind of indicator that she could have been using PEDs?
Actually, not really.
Your Honor, permission to approach opposing counsel and the witness with a copy of Exhibit 5?
Sure.
Thank you. The record reflect, I'm showing opposing counsel a copy. Would you like a copy? And approaching the witness. Now, Coach, what is this document that I've handed you?
This is a record of Jordan's 3 biggest races during her time at Rough Grouse.
And is it a true and accurate copy of that record, Coach?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, permission to move Exhibit 5 into evidence.
Any objection?
I have no objection, Your Honor.
It is admitted.
Permission to publish to the jury, Your Honor?
Yes, but you can continue your questions while they're looking at it.
Now, Coach, could you tell us, over Jordan's career, how much time she dropped?
Well, Jordan's best event was the 3,200 meter, which we also called 2-miler. From her freshman to her junior year, she dropped a total of 33 seconds.
And now, is that at all out of the ordinary, Coach?
Actually, not really. If you want to take a look at the 2010-2012 season, The eighth place finisher, Sarah Kaufman, as a junior, ended her senior year in the 2011-2012 season. She dropped a total of 26 seconds in 1 year. Now, for example, the ninth place finisher, Elena Koltash, in 2010-2012, from her sophomore year to her senior year over here, she dropped a total of 46 seconds, again, in 3 years.
So Jordan dropped how much time again in those 3 years, Coach?
33 seconds.
And had other people drop more in less time?
Yes, Jordan was actually in between, for example, those two girls.
Now, Coach, was it ever brought to your attention the possibility that Jordan could have been using performance-enhancing drugs?
Yes, Morgan Pierce came to me about that.
And what did you do upon hearing this?
Well, I had to talk with Jordan and told her to keep up the good work and that, it was important to stay clean. I asked her if there's anything I needed to know by that. She said no.
Coach, did you believe Jordan when she said that to you?
I mean, I did. I have the utmost faith and trust in my athletes, but with that being said, I'm concerned for their well-being, and that's when I went the extra mile. I called the ISPAC hotline. I told them about Jordan, and I gave them all the information I had, and they're the professionals. I let them take it from there.
So, Coach, did you ever hear back from the track league about your report?
I didn't, and I actually thought that was a good thing, because if they did find anything, then they would have notified me a lot sooner.
Thank you, Coach. Nothing further, Your Honor?
Cross-examine.
Yes, Your Honor. Coach Swift, would it be fair to say that you would consider yourself a rather caring coach?
I mean, I do like to push my athletes at times, but yeah, I do care about them.
Yes, and you want the well-being for each and every one of your athletes, correct?
That's correct.
So that's why when Jordan Simon ended up passing out at one of your practices, you called a nurse immediately just to ensure that she was all right, correct?
No, I didn't. I moved her to the bench, and I monitored the situation myself.
Do you have any medical background, Coach Swift?
I don't, but I mean, I really thought it was dehydration. I gave her the fluid she needed and color restored to her face.
So no nurse or any medical professional, for that matter, was called?
No.
And furthermore, when Morgan Pierce, one of Jordan's teammates, approached you with concerns that her best friend might have been taking a performance-enhancing drug, you just wrote it off, didn't you?
I mean, I talked to Jordan about staying clean and whatnot.
But in your signed and sworn affidavit, do you not state, I wrote it off?
I mean,
Your Honor, I'm using this for impeachment.
Second, please.
Our opposing counsel is referencing an out-of-court statement, and she's using it for the truth of the matter asserted, which is by definition hearsay.
Your Honor, I'm using this as a method of impeachment, as the response that the witness just gave is contradictory to the one in his affidavit.
Overruled.
well, in that case, I was talking to Morgan about it, and she came to me with that claim, and upon further questioning, she said that Jordan said it was B12.
So that is a yes to my question. You just wrote it off.
I mean, yeah, because she said Jordan said it was B12. B12 isn't illegal at all.
But you weren't there when Morgan saw the syringes, were you?
I was not.
So you have no way of knowing if that was actually B12 or if it was EPO, correct?
I mean, no.
And you don't feel the need to call Kelly Simon to inform her that her daughter had passed out at practice, that she was becoming moody or combative, did you?
Well, I mean, passing out when you're running, especially when you're a very competitive runner, I mean, it does happen at times. And the moodiness, like you just said, again, she was a teenager. Teenagers do get like that at times.
So that is a yes to my question. You didn't call Kelly Simon to inform her about these changes in her daughter's health, correct?
No, I didn't.
And when you would agree that the athletic director, Jamie Hager, approached you with an article concerning EPO, correct?
I do remember Jamie coming to me, yes.
And it was Jordan Simon that had printed that article, correct?
Yes.
But you just kind of blew it off when you got it, correct?
I mean, that article, I think, was about EPO. When a student prints out an article, we don't automatically jump to conclusions. I mean, students research things all the time. For example, if a student prints out an article on nuclear weapons, we're not going to go and call the United States Army.
Yes, however, directing you back to my question, Jordan Simon died from EPO. This article was about EPO, correct?
Yes, that's correct, but at the time, we weren't sure.
And if you'd please refer to the exhibit you have at the witness stand right now. You mentioned on direct examination that these increases in time weren't startling, correct? Because they were over the course of a few years.
Yeah, she worked very hard for all the time she got.
But the two other female runners that you referenced, their increase was over multiple years. Jordan Simon's 33-second increase was over 1 year, correct?
Well, actually, no. She started, she was third place at states in her freshman year, which is, again, as a freshman, it's tremendous. Her Franklin relays time in her junior year, it was, she dropped a little bit, but it wasn't that much. Other competitors have dropped just as much time.
But the bulk of Jordan Simon's improvement occurred over the course of 1 year, correct?
Yeah, but like I said earlier, Sarah Kaufman in 1 year dropped almost the same amount of time.
But Jordan Simon increased 1 year, not Sarah Kaufman,
Objection, Your Honor,
Jordan
asked and
Simon.
answered.
Your Honor, I am merely trying to clarify the witness's response.
No, the question has been
Overruled.
answered.
Try to answer the question, please.
Well, yeah.
Permission to approach the witness, Your Honor.
Yes.
Let the record reflect that I am approaching the witness with what has been previously marked as Exhibit 3. Its authenticity has been stipulated to by both parties, and both Your Honor and opposing counsel have been provided with a copy. Are you familiar with this document, Mr. Swift?
Yes.
And could you please identify it for the benefit of the court?
The ISPAC form?
Your Honor, at this time I would ask that Exhibit 3 officially be moved into evidence.
Any objection?
I have no objection, Your Honor.
Admit it.
Now, at the bottom of these pages, does it not state that this form must be returned to the coach, in this case yourself, before an athlete is eligible to compete in their respective sport?
It does say that, yes.
Yes, and this form must be signed each and every year of participation, correct?
Well, each form is exactly the same. We just changed the date on the top. It's Jordan Simon received this in her freshman and her sophomore year. So by her junior year, she did understand that. She didn't get it her junior year, though.
So, directing you back to my question, this form must be signed each and every year to ensure eligibility, correct?
It must be signed at least once, and it was signed at least twice, so yeah.
But by protocol, each and every year, this form is distributed to the athletes and must be returned with a signature, yes or no.
Yeah.
And if you would please refer to the third page of this document, for the 2012-2013 track season, Kelly Simon's signature is nowhere on this document, is it?
No, I think Jordan missed practice that day that we handed out the forms.
Yes, and Jordan Simon's signature is nowhere on this document, is it?
It is not.
So Jordan Simon was allowed to compete in the 2012-2013 track season without a signed consent form.
She signed it the first 2 years. It was
Mr.
an
Swift?
oversight on our part, though, yes.
Referring to the 2012-2013 track season, there was no signature, correct?
Yes, like I just said, yes.
And this was the season that Jordan Simon died, correct?
Jordan did pass away in her junior year.
No further questions.
Is there going to be redirect?
Very briefly, Your Honor.
Hold on then, please. I'll let the jurors. Okay.
Coach, just to be extremely clear, why didn't you pursue that third form to get it signed from Jordan?
She signed it twice already, and these forms say the exact same thing all 3 times.
So, did Jordan need a form in the 2012-2013 season?
She read it twice already, and she knew our policy, and so did Kelly Simon, so no.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Any recross?
Briefly, Your Honor. Coach Swift, just for the purpose of clarification, at the bottom of that document, it says that it must be turned in for eligibility.
This recross is beyond the scope of my redirect, Your Honor.
I'm not sure yet because I didn't hear the full question, so I'll hold your objection in abeyance. What's your question?
My question is just to clarify that this document must be turned in each and every year, as it says on the document, which Attorney Zindel did address on his redirect examination.
Your Honor, I did not address the wording of the document. However, I believe that it's beyond the scope of my direct examination, Your Honor. I didn't read anything from the document.
I'm going to sustain the objection. Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Witness is excused. Please be careful stepping in.